Okay, so I'm in downtown Columbia, Missouri. Just finished up with a floor for a new retail company called The Greens. So we did a metallic epoxy. This front entryway that you're seeing here had a tile on it. It was like a somewhat of a marble limestone tile. And the customer just really kind of had been, this building's probably been here since the, well, downtown Columbia, I would say early 1900s, really. So you can imagine flooring, tons of floors have been put on this. It was an epoxy coating before I started on it. Took that off and then went with a little bit more of a unique look for the building. You can kind of still see the tile impressions that are on the floor. Used a high performance epoxy with metallic pigment inside. The new company is called The Greens Co., so I thought it would be fitting to put a little bit of green in here. I believe that this place is a rental, so we didn't want to get too wild with doing something that's kind of too far out for any other company that wanted to come in through here. But I will walk you around and let you take a look at this floor, because it is very, very unique. I don't do a ton of these anymore just because, well, the epoxy is I tell you, it irritates me. I've got a little bit of an allergy to it, so it can get kind of making my eyes swell up and stuff with using it too much. It's a low VOC, high performance industrial coating. Right now we are in the stage of just laying the epoxy, so it needs sanded to get some of the rougher spots out of it, and then I always choose to put a little bit more of a still high gloss, but a top coat of urethane on it. It tones down all those reflections that you see here. They're kind of overwhelming with the epoxy having such a high sheen, but it'll look, I think it looks a little better too once you tone it down a little bit. And plus the epoxies will, they are a little bit more of a scratch resistant. Epoxy tends to be a little bit more of a softer compound, so you tend to get a lot more scratches and stuff within the floor. Putting a two-part water-based polyurethane provides a lot more better protection, especially when you have a retail space or a commercial place. Not to mention, toning it down and making it so everything's not so reflective is kind of important. I think it definitely adds a little bit more character to the floor. But kind of a neat coating. Just went with some greens, and most of this color is, I believe, battleship gray primary with a little bit of smoke screen. I put a little bit of pearl, some charcoal. You can kind of see I got a little bit of kind of drips and stuff, but all in all, it doesn't really, matter too much. It just looks good in 3D from all angles, so there's no nobody's really cutting them down just because there are some imperfections in them, because overall they're so unique that it's hard to pick it apart. But I think this one turned out really well, so I may end up actually doing some more of these just for the fun of it. They are always so cool. I mean, they really turn out neat, and colors are kind of unlimited. You see people doing a lot of blues that look like ocean floors. Not necessarily going to sell a bunch of those, but it's cool to be able to do. I particularly like the earth tones. Brown floors are just unbelievable with this metallic, and then some of my favorites are these grays. I mean, you definitely can kind of get as creative as what you want to with them. Like right here, I just kind of drew in a little bit of a green line with the epoxy just to kind of give it a vein, and kind of does its own thing, really. Not a lot of skill really involved with this, other than making sure that you have the floor prep. That's the most important thing. Grinding the floor, creating a profile does wonders. I mean, that's the difference between a successful floor and a failured floor. They happen all the time. I see people put down these epoxies and they just really didn't take the precautionary measures to prep the floor. But overall, I really like it. I can't wait to get the next coating on top of it, just to give it a, you know, a little bit lower sheen. I think it'll help out tremendously, and I'll post some more photos and videos of it afterwards. But there you go. Thanks for taking a look.